So, you want a walkthrough of my motorhome? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at things here. This is a 1988 Fleetwood Jamboree motorhome. 27 foot long. It's on a Ford E350 chassis with a 460 V8 engine in it. It's got a bit of power, unless of course I'm pulling a car uphill, but it works. So let's look at the engine compartment, which is very crowded. On the left, of course, is the engine battery. There's a bunch of hoses and wires and stuff. Air cleaner system. And brake cylinders back there. And the originally they only had one house battery here for the entire motorhome. But of course I've added on to that. And this wire is for the solar charging system for this battery. You may notice I have got some clips back here. This is a solenoid which disables the entire battery system. It's kind of old and I can't find a replacement for it. So in case the contacts are a little wore, I add the wire clips across this when I'm parked, and ensures that this voltage in this battery gets connected to the rest of the electrical system. Anyway, this wire goes down and it connects to this solar panel assembly that I built. It consists of two 60-watt panels connected together with a hinge and legs, and underneath is a solar charge controller connecting both of the panels together. Very simple, I think 10 amp. Up above, I've got those windows that are pretty much useless other than what I've used them for. I've got a couple of solar panels placed in them to run a charge system inside. Along the side you may notice that I've got wheel covers. They are snap ring wheel covers. Don't have to deal with straps. I just have to bend the metal rings around the tire and it stays put, even under high wind. Continuing back, it's got a compartment here that pulls out. That contains my water and septic hoses, as well as a few little bits of hardware associated with that. Further up is, of course, the water fill for the onboard water tank, which I fill, of course, when I'm moving, but it's empty when I'm traveling. And to empty it, I've got this little valve here that I leave open when I'm hooked up to water during the summer and winter retreats. Up here, this is the water heater, one that I replaced a few years ago because the old one rusted out. And I have to use a can of air spray, compressed air, and clean the burner and valves a bit. Maybe every 2-3 months, because dust and dirt and creatures kind of like to live in there. Further down, we've got another tire cover. You may want to know what this little valve is. Well, this motorhome came with an air ride system. It didn't include an air pump originally, so you had to fill the air through these air valves. Very inconvenient. The air pump I added, it makes things a lot better. Up here, this is the 30 amp electrical inlet. I recently had to replace this. That's because the air conditioner, the capacitors in the air conditioner, kind of dried out, and I was drawing excess current, and some of these pins were getting burned up. So yeah, it's good thing that I replaced it, because who knows what might have happened if I had let that burn. And further down, this is my water inlet for outside water sources. And I've got my water filter attached to it. Notice that I've got a 90-degree there sticking out of it to try to release some of the pressure. And you may notice, despite all the mineral buildup, I have got a quick connect system, and that makes connecting and disconnecting the water very easy and very convenient. Now that water filter probably needs to be replaced in about a month. Also like to notice the water hose. It's not your standard Camco white, it's blue. That's because my white Camco got kind of hard and crusty and cracked on me. And it was rather difficult using during cold weather because it wouldn't bend very well. This water hose is very flexible, and it never gets hard in the cold weather. This panel is for behind the furnace, or the refrigerator, which I had replaced not long after I hit the road. But there's something I want to show you here, and that's this device here. Looks like the display is flashing a bit too much, but what that is, it's a electronic thermostat. And this particular one is in Celsius instead of Fahrenheit. But what that does is, when the temperature gets above, say, 90 degrees, maybe 92, it activates a fan inside the refrigerator to keep the fins as frost-free as possible. Otherwise, it gets them kind of messy in there. Further back, we've got a little hatch here. That's for the original septic hose. It's one where the end is cut off, so I use that for very specific types of dump stations. And then, of course, I've got my gray water and black water tank valves here for dumping. The campground here allows dumping of gray water, so I've got my valve opened up. I also got a couple of lights I installed right above it. There's a switch inside that lights these up in case I want to dump at night. And then we've got our fuel. That's a very long hose to the fuel tank. Locked, of course. Moving to the back of the motorhome, I've got, on the bottom there, I've got brushes to keep rocks from flying all over the place, especially when I'm towing the car. I got my handy ladder there for getting up on the roof. Although, I wouldn't trust the ladder that came with it. Not with my weight. What we got here in the middle, underneath the window, and that is my backup camera. Comes in handy when I want to back into camping spots. It also has infrared LEDs that light up so that I can see at night. Although it's a black and white picture, but I can see about 10-15 feet back. Maybe more if there's extraneous lights like a full moon or campfires. Hidden away on the back of this is a little jack here. Some of you may recognize it as a trailer connection jack with the 4 pins. This is actually to hook up a wind turbine to the system. 3 of the pins are connected to the wind turbine. I got a controller that also does solar as well. Unfortunately, the wind turbine collapsed under a very wet fall, got damaged, and I haven't replaced it yet. In the back here, I also have a hatch that opens up where I keep my spare tire. I also have a couple of buckets here that I use for storing miscellaneous stuff. And got a little electrical outlet, antenna connector, and that white thing is my external thermostat, so I can measure the temperature outside. And that device, that is the transmitter for the backup camera. It's adequate for my uses, although sometimes there's interference. On the other side of the motorhome, down there by the tire cover, is another solar panel. It's a 20-watt solar panel. And what I have, that connects to a solar charge controller, a battery tender actually. That plugs into the accessory jack on the front panel in the dashboard. And that keeps my engine battery charged while I'm sitting here for months on end. Next to that is my portable propane tank. I use that mostly when I'm just sitting around parked. That saves on using the onboard propane. You may have seen a video of what's inside. Well, not mine, but my sister's. What we have is a propane manifold. The hose from the external tank goes through this valve, and it mixes into the main line going to the regulator and the valve from the main tank. That way I can easily switch this, and the valve makes sure that the line is closed, where some of these extended stay interfaces, they don't close very well. I do have an awning on this thing. That's the original. And I'm surprised it has lasted this long, because I've seen awnings that are just destroyed in just a few years. So it must be a really good awning material. On this side, I've got another hatch. That's where I tend to keep my engine maintenance stuff, like oil and fluids and stuff like that. And that is the outside vent for the furnace. I, of course, have a screen over it to keep bugs from going in. And right below it is another air inlet valve for the air suspension system. I'm glad I don't have to use those anymore. Another tire cover, of course. That vent right there, that is the vent to the battery box where I added 2 more batteries to the system. Group 29 batteries. So I've got a good amount of current. And right next to it, there's another jack. That is another solar panel input. And that is connected to this panel. They didn't have any 60-watt panels, but they did have some 70-watt panels. So I tied those together and ran that to the charge controller inside, which is also the charge controller for the wind turbine. And you've probably seen this hatch before. This is the hatch for my generator. A very popular video I did of changing the oil and filter on it. So you probably have seen that compartment before. Bit of a note here. This is a handle with a light above it. That lens lasts about 2 years before it gets brittle. So every 2 years I have to replace it. It's not difficult and it's not expensive. Anyway, time to go inside and take a look. Inside the door to the left is my fire extinguisher. And there's a couple of switches here, one for the outdoor light, one for the light right above the entrance here. And up there we have got the electronic thermostat for the furnace. Much better than the equipment that normally comes with it. And above that is the outdoor temperature display and the combination smoke detector and CO2 detector. And this door here is a closet. A couple of items of note. On the right side there's a door that leads to the battery compartment. And then next to that is a monitor for the combination solar and wind turbine. Gives me the voltage and current of the charging. And then of course the propane detector. And the display on the door is just a glue-on false stained glass thing I got at Home Depot. And above that, I built a little shelf system to hold miscellaneous stuff like the umbrella. As for this closet door, well, nice place to keep my broom, and it's mostly filled with some coats, and there's shelving in the back, holds a bunch of junk. Kind of messy in here, but that's what the closet is for. Behind this door, which I have paper covering up a mirror because I don't need more mirrors, is the bathroom. Probably have seen me install one of these in my sister's motorhome. Relatively easy, sometimes messy. And I got my tub here. Needs a good cleaning. If you have any idea how to clean this stuff, let me know. Nice mirror and medicine cabinet. And on this side there's a door with a mirror that goes into the same closet. And of course I got switches for the light and the fan up above. This is my refrigerator. You may have seen a video of me replacing the gaskets on the door of a previous refrigerator, which a couple years after I did that video, the refrigerator died on me, and I had to have this one installed. The opening had to be cut a little bit wider and a little taller. Fortunately, the equipment above it didn't need to be moved. And what the equipment above it is, well, that here is my panel. It's got all the controls for the various systems and the temperature outside underneath the refrigerator, so that's why it's warmer. And next to it is my main solar charge controller. So I think it's 60 amp one. And that little device next to it, that's a little power pack that I keep charged. In case my battery and my phone goes dead, I can plug my phone into that and charge it right up. When I showed you the thermostat outside, I said it was for controlling the fans inside my refrigerator. Well, there's the fans. It helps keep the frost low on the fins back there. Not perfect. There is a problem with this, and that's right in there in the middle, that red switch. If I put something on this shelf and I push it against that switch, it can occasionally turn it off. So I'm going to have to find a way of blocking that so that it can't be touched. That is the original microwave, and it still works, which is unusual for microwaves. I don't use it much. Occasionally I might use it if I'm at a city park and I'm hooked up to a good, decent 30 amp circuit. And of course there's the vent with some storage above it. And my new Furion or gas range. The old one developed a leak in the regulator. And so I replaced it with this one. I got it used for a good price. And of course there's storage below. There's also a storage below the refrigerator. The kitchen cabinet has got adequate space for stuff. It'd be nice if it was better. Got plenty of storage underneath. And it's got adequate storage up above for mainly canned goods or packaged goods, dry goods. On the other side of the kitchen is my bed, which used to be bench seating. I think I did a video of converting that. It's convenient because if I want to, I don't have to get out of bed to reach across the counter to get some food or make food. And there's additional storage up above that. And there's a little compartment down below for clothes. And this is the couch that I installed. The original couch was really in bad shape, so I actually had to build the framing for this, and then I had someone do the covering of the material. And I've got plenty of storage up above there, and a nice little fan that keep me cool in the mugginess here. That box way in the back there, that is the solar charge controller for the charge station that I built. And I think I did a video of building that charge station. That's the third charge controller I've had. This one is a 30 amp. The others were a 10 and a 20 amp. So I think this one will last a little bit longer. This one has got USB charge ports on it, which makes things a little convenient. And also, get a little closer here, those two devices up there, those are charge controllers for when I'm hooked up to AC power. I can plug my phone into that and it'll charge faster, and I don't have to use my solar. And on the other side is my TV/computer monitor. I got a cabinet here that I stored lots and lots of paperwork and junk. And I got a bit of storage up there for most of my administrative usage. That box there, that is my computer. Runs off of 12 volts. Very convenient. Up on the roof, I have my air conditioner. It's a 15,000 BTU that I bought used for a very good price. And that's the one I had to replace the capacitors on because they dried out. And behind this curtain here, that is the driver's compartment and attic. And like most attics, it's full of junk, disorganized. Of course, I'm parked for the winter here at the moment, and a lot of stuff that I store up there is already outside or hanging around inside. So it's kind of disorganized and messy. But it's a good place to store a lot of stuff that I don't use very much. And then, of course, there's the driver's area. Oh, by the way, that curtain, that is an insulated curtain, so when it's closed, it blocks off the front so that I can better heat the living space back here. People with older motorhomes like this Ford will probably recognize this front dashboard, since it really hasn't changed much in years for the Econoline. That cord right there with the meter, that is the external solar charge controller and a voltage monitor for it to make sure it is working properly. I also have a dash cam. You can see it just sort of poking out of that pouch. That's what I use when I'm traveling to record my trips and to make sure that if there's any accidents, I got it recorded. Well, that's my tour of the motorhome. Hope you liked it.